Okay. Divine right order, right? We believe in divine right order. It might not look the way we want it to look, but it's always in some kind of order, right? So we're going with the flow. And what an amazing month we've had so far. We've been really digging into some incredible ideas of constantly and regularly walking a pathway of God's plenty. These are the points we've been hitting on for the last 3 weeks. A journey of the joy of spirit and a course in conscious creation, which is like one of my favorite things. Conscious creation. We've been using 2 books, one by May McCarthy, The Path to Health, seven spiritual steps for financial abundance, which we all like. And we've also been using The Science of Getting Rich, one of my favorite books by Wallace Waddell. So during our time together this month, we have talked about cultivating a deep, personal, regular relationship with our CSO. Remember? Mm-hmm. Which means? Chief Spiritual Officer. Very good. Chief Spiritual Officer. In other words, the divine, God. So our CSO, we've been working with that. If you've joined us in our exercise that we'll talk about a little bit more today, but it's about developing this relationship and knowing what we want and then letting the CSO do the rest. All we have to know is what we really want, what we really want to feel, and hold that thought, that vision, that desire, and have the feeling that matches it. And the divine takes care of the how. We don't have to figure out the how. We let the divine do that. So we've been talking about having daily meetings with agendas with our CSO every morning. And I even gave you a 30-day practice sheet that we used the Wallace Waddell's book, which, by the way, is on the table in the back if you care to buy it. It's a fantastic book. That's all I can say about it. I've been using it for about 15 years in many classes, written in 1910. Fabulous. Well, published in 1910. So, then last week we explored the power of thinking and acting in a certain way. And if you're familiar with Wallace Waddell's book, he's got chapters on that. Thinking and acting in a certain way. If you want to hear these talks and you haven't, go on YouTube under my name, Rev Margaret Palagye. It's on the front of your bulletin, or you can just Google Joyful Gathering Spiritual Center. It will come up. So there was one quote that I really liked from The Science of Getting Rich, and it was, by thought the thing is brought to you. By action you receive it. Isn't that good? By thought the thing is brought to you. By action you receive it. So today we're going to talk about a very important ingredient that we have not talked about that gives us the freedom to walk on that pathway of God's plenty, to take the journey of joy in spirit, and to chart that course of conscious creation. And I'm going to rephrase that today to explore an important ingredient that gives us the freedom when we apply it, and it does that. It does that. That ingredient that we're going to talk about today does that. And it helps us to pave the pathway of plenty, to generate the joy of living in alignment. And it clears the course of conscious creation. Because if we don't have the clarity, if we don't have that faith, then what happens is we pollute the pathway. You don't want a polluted pathway. We pollute the pathway. It jumps up the journey and it clogs the course. I hope you appreciate those words, because I had to think of them. So those are the other way of living life. It's always going to be a conscious decision of which way. So when people are confused and ask for treatment, which is affirmative prayer, I say maybe we pray for clarity. In fact, I take the maybe out. Usually we pray for clarity so that we have clear thinking and know exactly what we want to experience in life. And those who have read McCarthy's book already know maybe a little bit about the ingredient. And the rest of you can probably guess it. I don't know if you can or not. We talk a lot about it. As I said last week, none of this is new. Everything I talk about every week is not new. It's the same thing. But we got to get it in different ways. There's different ways that a spiritual truth can hit us. And so I just say be open and be receptive to any way that truth comes in through. Can anyone guess what the ingredient is?
Gratitude.
Excuse me? No one?
Love.
Gratitude.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Oh, jeez.
Got to do it all the time, remember? Mike Dooley, who writes those notes from the universe, he says that people often come up to him after he does one of his workshops. He does big workshops all over the planet, and they say, I've heard all this stuff before. There's nothing new here. Don't you have anything new where I can go deeper? And his reply is, this is it. This is it. You just have to apply it. Are you using it in your everyday life? Because if you're not using it, it's just a bunch of nice words, and it feels good for an hour. And then you go out and you just go back into the old pattern. So, you know, it's going to be the same truths over and over again, but different ways of deepening. I'm always deepening into it. The same thing. Because we forget. We're having a human experience. We forget. So May McCarthy suggests that we incorporate this not so new idea every single night before we go to sleep. How about that? Going to sleep with a clear slate. Going to sleep without resentment or holding somebody or yourself. That's the big one, holding yourself in this state of enslavement, really, because we become enslaved to the resentment, even for ourselves. So, another way to go to sleep, too, is with outrageous gratitude. I mean, you put those two together, gratitude and forgiveness, you're pretty much going into a nice sleep. And you're going to wake up in a really nice place. And it's something to practice all the time. So here is, I already told you, the all-important ingredient. It's forgiveness. It's forgiveness. And I got this from A Course of Miracles, and I modified it just a little bit. So just listen to this. Do you want peace? Do you want happiness, a quiet mind, a certainty of purpose, and a sense of worth and beauty that transcends the world?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want a quietness that cannot be disturbed, a gentleness that can never be hurt, a deep abiding comfort, a flow of abundant good, and a rest so perfect that it can never be upset?
Yes.
Do you want freedom?
Yes. Yes.
All this forgiveness offers. That's the reading from Course in Miracles. So yes, the key ingredient then is forgiveness. Forgiveness as a spiritual practice done every night before you go to sleep. It just takes you a little deeper into the peace within. Because within us there is a peace. There is a deep, abiding peace. But we cannot get to it when we have layers of resentment and anger towards ourselves and others build up. And it's a wall that keeps us from experiencing our goods. And McCarthy writes this. Love that name because it was my real name. Margaret McCarthy. So I love this name, May McCarthy. So McCarthy writes this. Forgiveness doesn't mean you absorb the person for their action or even place yourself in a position to be hurt again. Hear this. Forgiveness means that you recognize that you can choose to not let them or the situation have power over you anymore. You can choose to let it go and become free. You can choose to be powerful and create a wonderful future for yourself. Forgiveness is a necessary part of making this choice. With forgiveness, you are making room for the CSO to work and creating the calm place to receive the direction toward the good that you want, even if you don't necessarily feel like forgiving today, she writes. Forgiveness is for your benefit. Hear that. It's for your benefit, not anyone else's. And so, forgiveness, we hear a lot of discussion and talk about forgiveness. But true forgiveness, it sets us free. It really does. All of that energy locked within us that we hold and we drag around with us. And whether you forgive, when you forgive, you do it for you, not for the other person, event, or experience. You have never forgiven. So if you have a whole experience, and it could be an organization, it could be people, it could be anything, ourselves, remember that when we don't forgive, it owns us. It owns us. We're not free. We can't use the other spiritual truths until we get to that one. So let me say that again. The person, event, or experience you have never forgiven owns you. So let me demonstrate that, if you will. My little way of doing this. Pack them up. Just there. Go back to your mouth a little bit. Okay, stay. Thank you. So here I am doing my life, living my life. Things are okay. Things are fine, moving right along. Not great, but they're okay. I can deal with it, right? We've all had life. I got some painful stuff in my past, but who doesn't? Who doesn't have this painful stuff in your past? And then I come to this crazy spiritual center or church, whatever you want to call it, this month, and I begin learning about the pathway of God's plenty. Sounds good. A journey of joy. A course in conscious creation. And then I hear how to do this by creating a relationship with my CSO. Okay? Learning about having these daily meetings, thinking in a certain way, acting in a certain way, all of this stuff. So I'm ready to move forward. This stuff has been so inspiring. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to get on purpose and live a conscious life right here, right now. But as I try to move ahead, I feel this heaviness. This heaviness that's always there with me. I'm attached to the heaviness. So, where am I going to go if I'm schlepping this with me? It's not really down. I don't know how to spell schlep. But where am I going to go? This is always with me. So, it owns me. So, through forgiveness, only through letting go of that heaviness, if you will, that pain, that resentment, and that could be me. It could be me that I'm pulling around with me, and it's heavy. It's slowing my energy down. There's really only one way to get rid of it. Only one. And I'm going to do that right now so that you can all see this. This is an illustration, because sometimes the cord is very, very strong. But that's the only way. That's the only way that we can get rid of the past, is to cut ourselves loose from it, to really not have it in the forefront. I know for many, many years, 40-something years, I lived with it in the forefront of my mind until I consciously decided I had to do some forgiveness work, because I was abusing self. I was abusing me by carrying this heaviness and replaying. Anyone ever find that? Replaying the story. Oh, we got stories. We have not had stories. This story was so boring, my family was like, enough already. I mean, I could have told them I was laying, out on the street naked and homeless. They were just like, enough. I don't want to hear anymore. So the point is that we can all cut the past. That's letting go. And once you let go, you let God. God can't get in. God is in there. But it can't come into our human thinking, our human self, until we absolutely cut the cord of toxic memories. That's what it is, toxic memories. And so through forgiveness, I can cut the cord. So in this moment, which is what I just did, but I want to talk about May McCarthy again, what she wrote. When our master teacher, Jesus, was asked, "How many times must I forgive, Lord?" His answer was 70 times 7. This is in the Bible. 7, a symbolic number of completion. We must forgive until we are complete, she writes, until we are complete, finished, over with the feelings of hurt, anger, resentment, and whatever other feelings might come along with unforgiveness. Only then will we be free. Only then. Only then. And she writes, you can think of forgiveness this way. Anything that may be blocking the communication channel between you and your CSO, that means you and your divine connection with God, because that indwelling spark of divinity is within every single person here and within each and every single person everywhere. It's our oneness that we talk about. It's our unity with the divine. So I'll go back to May McCarthy. She says, you can recognize the intuitive leads that are being sent to you. If your thoughts are consumed with resentment, it becomes harder for the CSO's messages to get through. They can't get through to direct you toward your goal. So you can have, yes, more here, but you can have a great vision, but if you're still dragging around that old resentment and that heaviness, it's really hard for the intuition to work, and that comes from the gut. When people say gut feelings, it's coming from inside, and it can't really get to you. It can't communicate with you when you have all of this junk that you're dragging through life. And she says, there is a spiritual axiom that states, whatever you hold against another, you also hold against yourself. By letting go of these resentments, you free up your energy to receive more of the good you deserve. A great way to do this is by saying a forgiveness prayer each night. And so my friends, this is a topic we could talk about forever. Forgiveness is, I have a 10-week class on forgiveness, and that just about scrapes the surface. It's changed a lot of people's lives, but there's still a lot more work to do. So forgiveness, we could go on all morning. I don't want to do that. So I'm wondering if you were able to have an experience with me, right here, right now. I'm standing up here, so you can. I can either do it, or I can do a prayer, or I could do this experience, which is a meditation, forgiveness meditation. Which one would you like?
Forgiveness meditation.
Meditation, unanimously. Okay. So then I ask you to take a breath with me. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. And this is called, it's called a Circle of Love meditation. So it's a little long, but it's really beautiful. So take a few deep breaths. And then in your mind's eye and in your heart, go to a place where you feel totally surrounded by the infinite. Completely surrounded by the universe of good. A place where you feel safe and secure and at peace. Perhaps it's on the bow of a boat in the Caribbean as you drink in the most amazing turquoise blue water. Perhaps it's a field of beautiful wild flowers with a sapphire sky overhead. Or perhaps it's a deep, rich, green forest which is lush and rich. Wherever it is, Go there in your mind now. And in this place, you feel completely and totally safe and secure. You notice in this space, wherever it is, that there is a door. And that door opens, and in walks a person that for you is an avatar of love. Picture that. It is a divine being of unconditional love and light. A high and holy person. A person of expanded consciousness. It can be anyone. It could be Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Mother Teresa. It could be your grandmother. It doesn't matter who it is. Just bring him or her in. And have this person stand about 5 feet or so away from you, but facing you. And now I'm going to have you bring other people in, and they are going to form a circle around you. Standing to the left before them, we will bring in just a few folks. So there, your avatar of love is standing right there. Your anchor, that's your first person. The second person, or it could be an experience or an event, you're going to bring in through the door is someone or something that in your heart right now, you make the decision to forgive. And remember, it is a decision. May McCarthy says, you may not even feel like it, but do it anyway. Do it anyway. Bring that person, experience, or event, bring them in right now and have him or her or it stand just a couple of feet away on the left of your avatar of love. And let that person be facing you. And then through the door walks a second avatar of love. Someone else who represents you. Absolute, unconditional love. Divine guidance. Higher consciousness illuminating. Bring that person in and have him or stand to the left by a few feet. So you're making a circle around you. And then will come in another person or event that you today are willing and ready to forgive. Make the decision. Bring that person or event in to stand a foot or so away from the avatar of love. And remember again, you're making a circle around you, a safe, beautiful, secure circle. And now a third avatar of love walks in, a third person who represents divine love to you. And have him or her stand, making the circle, which is almost closed now. Only room for one more. Only room for one more. At this point, you have an avatar, a person to forgive. Another avatar, another person to forgive. And a third avatar. So you have 3 avatars of love. And so that last person for that last avatar then is actually you. In you come. So there are now two of you. One of you is in the middle of the circle, and the second one taking that last position somewhere in the circle. So that you that is in the middle is the you, the consciousness that said yes this morning to being here, that said yes to doing this exercise, that said yes to living fully and freely, on purpose and in joy. And the you in the circle is the you that you came here and are willing to forgive. The you in the center now turns to the avatar number one and walks up closely, taking his or her hands if you want, whatever works for you. But have that person look in your eyes and you look back. This is a being of love. And I just want you to see the love that is coming at you. Not only see it in your avatar's eyes, but feel it wash over you. Feel it filling your very beingness with love. And in that love is strength. In that love is courage. And in that love is a desire to live in greater oneness and to live on purpose. And so fortified with this love and this desire, you walk just a couple of steps to your right and you come face to face with the first person you brought into the circle. See that first person that you brought into the circle, that you today are deciding to forgive. And it's okay if emotions occur. Let it be okay. There's only love here. And love cannot hold unforgiveness. So take another breath, breathe in. And so you look at that person now, and I want you to even notice if you see it slightly different. Perhaps as you look at this person, there is a greater understanding, greater compassion in your heart. Perhaps not. Either is okay. I want you to look and simply say to them, I fully and freely forgive you. I loose you and let you go quickly to your highest good. You are free, and I am free as well. And then you take another step to your right, and there is your avatar number two, looking at you with deep love and such respect for the work you just did. And so let yourself be filled again, buoyed with this love, divine appreciation, and take that energy, that love energy, and move to your right again. And you come face to face with the second person or event that you called into this circle this morning. That you said, yes, I am ready to make the decision to forgive. And do that right now. I fully and freely forgive you. I loose you and let you go quickly and in peace to your good, beautiful work. And now you are free. And that person is free. You take a few steps to the right and come in contact with your third avatar, who is just glowing at you, glowing. So much love, glowing with respect and admiration and love, filling you with divine light and energy, absolutely empowering you to take that final step to the right. And when you take that step to the right, you look at yourself and all the things that you have labeled flaws, and all those things you have done in the past that you are still holding on to, regretting, beating yourself up about. I want the you in the center to look at that you right now with the eyes of love and compassion. Look at yourself the same way you looked at and you were looked at by your avatars. That look of absolute unconditional love. Love, you are projecting that love onto the you. And simply say to this aspect of you, I fully and freely forgive you. I fully and freely forgive you. And I fully and freely forgive you. I am now free. Breathe that in. And one more time, finally to your right again, to the avatar number 1, just take in that love again. And as you're taking in all that love, all those you forgave, it all dissolves. Just like tiny crystals glimmering in the sun, they break up and fade away. As you see that last crystal disappear before your eyes, you release that you are completely released. You realize this, and you realize that they are completely released. And you truly are set free. Your avatars now gather around you in a tight circle, and they celebrate you. They celebrate this newness that is you. They celebrate the strength that is you. They lift you up over their heads and rejoice in the you who you are. A new sense of awakening, a new feeling and sense of freedom, a new sense of being ready to really move forward, on your path in this life. And as they put you down and place you firmly on the ground, you know that you are here on purpose, that you are here to live a life of joy, of freedom, and most of all, a life of love. And now you know that it is yours, not only to have for yourself, but to spread around the world. Everywhere you go, you are love itself. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. And so in this moment, you come back to this room and you are re-energized, reinvigorating. You're filled with that love that's the truth of who you are. And make the decision, truly make the decision that love is the healing balm, and receive all the blessings from that love. Truly, truly let it go. And you say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to you who said yes, I am cutting the cord. I am done. I am finished. I am ready to move ahead with my life right here, right now. And I am knowing that this is done. I am fully, completely claiming this is done. And so it is.
So it is.